didn't do my shit right. Wait a second. Let me make sure we good to go. Let me make sure we are good to go. There we go. Sometimes life calls for a change. Not fake, just different. It'll show you a different way. And right now, I'm on to my different way. I can promise you this is the same Spann, but the reporting is over. I'd like to welcome you to the Mrs. Spann official podcast. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mrs. Spann official podcast. I am your host, Mrs. Spann, and this is episode number 32 of the show. And yeah, man, your man Spann is in a very motherfucking celebratory mood right now, man. Real talk, man. Real talk. I am over here chilling, having a good time, man. I watched my Lions make the fucking NFC Championship game for the first time in 32 fucking years, man. Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, man, we over here in the celebratory mood. As you can see, the people in Detroit over here, we acting a damn fool. Yes, indeed, y'all. Yes, motherfucking D. Listen here, man. It's been a long time coming for us over here in the D, man. Real talk. So, I know some of you other motherfuckers who are listening to the sound of my voice right now, this sort of thing is regular to y'all, right? So if you're listening to me and you from Kansas City and y'all been to the AFC Championship 5 of the last 6 years, congratulations, motherfucker. Y'all used to it. We ain't. You know what I'm saying? We ain't. Like I said, the last time the Lions was this good, the last time they was this good, your boy Spann was an 11-year-old boy, man. An 11-year-old boy, man. Nigga! So for us to be this good right now, man, like right now, oh man, shit, celebration all over the motherfucking, like all over the streets of Detroit right now. Real talk. Now, low key, as much as I am not a Green Bay Packers fan, I was hoping for the Green Bay Packers to take care of business in San Francisco and pull out that win because no one expected them to, right? No one expected them to, but also it would have meant that the Lions would have got yet another home game in these playoffs, man. Another one. We didn't get the motherfucker. Why am I celebrating? But it would have been nice. It would have been nice. Right? It would have been nice for us to get another home game in the city of Detroit for these playoffs, man, especially considering the bullshit that happened in Dallas, right? Because if Dallas, it worked out though. Let me take that back. It worked out because Green Bay took care of business in Dallas. So because Green Bay took care of business in Dallas, we wouldn't have had to go to Dallas to go play them bums and beat them in Dallas a second time. It's considering the first time we beat them, that shit was taken away from us, right? But the Detroit Lions are in the NFC Championship game for the first time in 32 fucking years, bro. That is insane, right? That is insane. I never thought it would take this long for my Lions to be this good, man. Real talk. And I remember when the Detroit Lions hired Dan Campbell, I was a skeptic. Y'all remember, if y'all listen to those old episodes of the Beer and Chicken podcast, man, I was a skeptic of how good a coach he could be when I heard that first press conference. I was like, man, this nigga talking about biting off kneecaps and all this other shit, man. This is what the fuck they got rid of such and such for. I mean, no. So, yeah, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. I'm thinking about Jim Caldwell, but I was thinking about how like Jim Caldwell, as much as he was like, he had them in the playoffs and things like that, there were times where the Lions should have been they should have achieved a hell of a lot more. There was more expectations, heaped upon that team, especially with the talent that the team had. Like, I mean, shit, Matthew Stafford went to another goddamn football team, won the Super Bowl his first year out. You know what I'm saying? Megatron, I feel like we wasted that man's career because we never really put the team it never came together in a way where the whole team could take advantage of the generational talents that we had here, right? And so now, yo, you walk around the city of Detroit with your motherfucking chest poked out, man. And here's the thing. Here's another thing too, right? It's odd. It's weird because y'all know how your man Spann feels about the bandwagon fans. I'd be like, man, get the fuck out of here, y'all. The bandwagon fans, I ain't really, I'm really, really, really not a fan of y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. I get it. Detroit got a lot of those right now. Detroit got a lot of those right now, man. Like, I've seen people who like, I'm not a Detroit Lions fan. And they're from Detroit. I'm not a Detroit Lions fan. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. Like, all right, I guess, nigga. I'm not a Detroit Lions fan. I am a San Francisco 49ers fan. All right, cool. And I get it though, right? Because I am a fan. I am a legitimate fan of two professional football teams. You got, for me, first things first was the Detroit Lions. And then from their inception, before they ever played a fucking football game, was the Carolina Panthers, right? So when the Lions became, somewhat of a unreliable team to watch, an unreliable team to root for, hey, man, I had to have, I had to have somebody else with whom I can, throw my fandom behind, and it became the Carolina Panthers, and they done went to 2 Super Bowls, and they only been in the league since '96. And have been at least 2 Super Bowls, and I think they got fucked out of 2. Well, I really think they got fucked out of that one against the Patriots. But that's just your boy, right? But to be 1 game away from the Super Bowl as a Lions fan, it feels good, man. It feels good. Warms your man Spann's heart to be able to say that my Lions are part of the Final Four in the NFL after 32 fucking years, man. I was, like I said, what, 6th grade, bro? I was in the 6th grade. The last time the Lions were this good, man. So, yeah, it feels good. It feels good. And so, yeah, man, I knew, I had posted I was going to be podcasting tonight. People thought it was just going to be just because of the game. But it was like, nah, man, like Sundays have kind of become the day that I record the show. So you got that going on. But, yeah, man, celebratory times here in the city of Detroit, man. I'm happy for the fact that, man, our Lions are doing the goddamn thing, man, real talk. But, I didn't create my what's the name here. My bad. But I do have to remind you guys, how to get in touch with us here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here and responded to here live on the show. And if you're watching the show live on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on either my personal page or my fan page, you can go ahead and call me live while we're doing the show and, be a part of the conversation, man. Chop it up with your man Spann while we're doing the show. But if you're not going to do it while we're doing the show, leave that voicemail and we can respond to those voicemails while we're doing our listener feedback, right? Also, hit me up on Threads and Instagram and the Mr. Spann fan page on Facebook at Mr._Spann. Follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week there. Like I said, I do still have a Twitter account. I'm just not really on Twitter. So chances are if you reach out to me on Twitter, if I see it, it's going to be a while. It'll probably be a few days or a few weeks before you even get a response if you hit me up that way. So yeah, man, follow me on Twitter. Not Twitter. On Threads, Instagram, and Facebook. Through the fan page, and you can chop it up with me that way. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or I was going to say Stitcher, and I mean Spotify. Leave us those 5-star reviews on Spotify and or Apple Music, because Apple is actually getting ready to get rid of iTunes, right? So Apple Music and Spotify. Leave us those 5-star reviews. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. Also, you can go on Spotify and vote in our polls, because we do have polls available on Spotify. Sometimes there's a question as to how you like the show, or, like something that we talked about on the show. You can kind of chime in on Spotify that way. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube, man, because this show is simulcast, like I said, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. But subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can watch replays of the show. You can, leave us comments there on our YouTube episodes, and we do read those comments on our YouTube episodes, man. So if YouTube is one of your main ways of consuming this content, man, go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube and chop it up with us there in the comment section, and we will highlight those comments and reply to those comments here as well. And finally, you can go to our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can leave us comments there, but also you can donate to go to our store. You can buy some of our merch out of our store there. We've got t-shirts, we've got coffee mugs, we got mouse pads, we got the whole shebang over there, man. So go ahead and we really do appreciate everybody who helps us and subscribes to us and supports the show in that way. And man, it's all good. I really appreciate everybody who does that. So yeah, we got some things to talk about tonight. We got a couple different things to talk about. Let me pull this down, since we are no longer talking about our Detroit Lions, man. I'm gonna sleep good tonight. I know I'm gonna sleep good tonight. But man, so before we get into the rest of the show, of course, I do have some comments here that I need to read. So let's see. Our first, we get this comment. We got comments on our YouTube. Our YouTube video of the last episode, which was episode 31, The Long Game of Dumbing Down America. And we get this comment here. This comes from Reggie. Reggie writes in to say, "Hey, Spann, it appears that you feel strongly about this, but I think you might be in the minority concerning the black men in the dress thing. There have been far too many black men in the industry to come out and say that they were approached with roles that involved them wearing a dress, and that if they didn't take the role, then their opportunities wouldn't be as available. And unfortunately, a lot of our leading black men have been made to wear dresses in order to get ahead. Outside of the sexual assault stuff that Darius McCrary said, is publicly wearing the dress that black men feel is most emasculating. You don't find it strange that it's so many of our leading actors have been in dresses? Wait. You don't find it strange that so many of our leading actors have been in dresses? Wesley Snipes, Kevin Hart, Martin Lawrence, Arsenio Hall, Jamie Foxx, Tyler Perry, Eddie Murphy, Chris Tucker. The list is pretty lengthy. So I'm having a hard time with the idea that of you not being able to see it, and I know you're an observant dude, but the evidence is clear that there is an effort in media spaces to make black men appear more effeminate, or at the very least make us appear to be less of a threat." Now, that's interesting that you would say that, Reggie, because for a long time, man, it was the media's job, or at least, the prevailing thought was the media was going out of its way to portray black men as aggressive brutes, right? If you look back into history, man, one of the, even going back in so far as, like, say, for instance, the first blockbuster movie in America was The Birth of a Nation. And The Birth of a Nation essentially painted black men as uncontrollable sexual deviants who could not control themselves around white women, and that the Ku Klux Klan was around only for the express purpose of protecting white women from the aggressiveness of the sexual deviant, aggressive black man, right? So you got that going on. But then also, every time in public, like in public parlance, and like how black men were portrayed, one of the ways in which they have always kind of justified how they've treated black men has been that idea that black men were overtly sexual, that we were brutes, that they had to protect white women at all cost, and that that allowed for them to justify the things that they were doing to black men out in public, and out in public, in real life, right? Like you think about what happened to Emmett Till, man. Emmett Till was essentially killed for supposedly whistling at a white woman, and him being out of place for making a white woman feel uncomfortable. And we saw the end result of what happened to Emmett Till. So the idea that that Hollywood has shifted from, we want to shift from making the black man this overt sexual deviant beast into this super duper effeminate clown, so to speak. I don't know where we pinpoint where that change happens, right? I don't know where we pinpoint where that change happens. That's one thing. The other thing is that most of the names on this list you gave, so I'm reading here, it says, I see Wesley Snipes, Kevin Hart, Martin Lawrence is a comedian, Kevin Hart is a comedian, Arsenio Hall is a comedian, Jamie Foxx is a comedian, Tyler Perry plays Medea in a comedic role, Eddie Murphy played Mama, like the Clumps, he played the grandma and the Mama Clump in a comedic role. Chris Tucker, I know you probably are talking about his role in The Fifth Element. Most of those guys are comedians, bruh. And they were playing that role as in comedic spaces. So one of the things that I've heard this conversation too many times. Actually, I'm a little tired of the conversation, to be quite frank with you, right? I think that the conversation is a bit reductive. I think it's also showing, brothers' lack of exposure, and also just it's one of those conversations where, like, if you're surrounded by people who are continuing to talk about this silly shit, then you will therefore continue to talk about this silly shit too. That's why they say birds of a feather flock together. Right. So if you're surrounded by some of these conversations and you don't have any other way in which to express yourself, or you're not exposed to any other lines of thinking, then you're susceptible to believing some of the shit. But you said, our leading guys. And so one of the things I was thinking about when I first saw this comment was, first things first, I think y'all are wrong, right? Because Denzel Washington, right? Denzel Washington is one of our leading black actors out right now. I'm still searching for the role in which Denzel Washington was out here wearing a dress. Real talk. I'm still searching for that one. Let me see. I got a list here, and these are some of our more prominent black actors. Morgan Freeman. You ever seen Morgan Freeman walking around in a dress in a movie? I mean, Morgan Freeman was the voice of God at one point in one of these movies, and he does a lot of voiceover work for the Nature Channel and stuff like that, Discovery and stuff. I've never seen Morgan Freeman rock a dress. Samuel L. Jackson. Have you ever seen Samuel L. Jackson in a fucking dress? I'm still searching for people who can find. If you can find an image of Samuel L. Jackson in a role where he had to wear a dress, please, somebody let me know. How about Chadwick Boseman? Chadwick Boseman played a whole lot of different characters. I've never seen Chadwick Boseman in a dress, right? Never, not once. Have I ever seen him do that? He's one of our more prominent black actors. How about Lawrence Fishburne, man? Have you ever seen Lawrence Fishburne rock a dress in any role he's ever played, in any movie we've ever seen him in? Lawrence Fishburne was a goddamn child actor at one point. I don't think I've ever seen Lawrence Fishburne rocking a dress. How about Forrest Whitaker, man? Have you ever seen Forrest Whitaker walking around in a dress in any role in a movie, right? Now, these are some of our more prominent, respected, critically acclaimed actors. I've never seen these dudes walking around in dresses in movie roles, right? How about James Earl Jones? James Earl Jones was the fucking voice of Darth Vader. You think he had to wear a dress in order to get that role? To voice Darth Vader? You think that happened to James Earl Jones? I don't think so. How about Danny Glover, right? Danny Glover, I ain't never seen Danny Glover wear no dress, man. Danny Glover is world renowned, critically acclaimed, been in blockbuster movies, had action movies with fucking Mel Gibson. I mean, we all know Mel Gibson is a raging racist now, but we didn't know that shit then. Excuse me, but we didn't see Danny Glover in no damn dress. I mean, some of y'all give Will Smith a lot of shit for his role in 6 Degrees of Separation, but we ain't never seen Will Smith in no dress, man. We've never seen Will Smith in no dress for a movie role. How about Sidney Poitier, man? I've never seen Sidney Poitier in a movie role that required him to wear a dress. So I'm listing all of these dudes. Don Cheadle, we never saw him either. Michael B. Jordan is a new leading man. I don't think we've ever seen Michael B. Jordan in a dress, right? So now I'm naming all of these dudes for the express purpose to push back on the idea that everybody who's made it in Hollywood had to put on their dress in order to emasculate black men, right? In order to emasculate black men, we've got to put these dudes in dresses. Meanwhile, most of our leading men haven't been wearing no dresses, man. You're talking about comedians wearing a dress for comedic purposes. And I don't know why one guy wearing a dress for a comedic role somehow emasculates all of us, right? I don't understand that how y'all come to that conclusion. How one dude wearing the dress for a comedic role emasculates every last one of the other black men, right? You make a choice for you, and that's your choice. That's it. And that's all, man. I go to New Orleans. I go to New Orleans every year. They have an event down there every year. It's called the Red Dress Run. My wife introduced me to this particular event. Her parents, and they would take her down to New Orleans every year, and it's become a yearly ritual for us as a family. And every year I go down to this Red Dress Run. And every year is thousands of dudes down there wearing dresses. White men, black men, Asian men, Indian men, Native American men, along with the women who are a part of the event, right? So they got the race, and then they got like the day party that's like just one big drunken shit going on in the French Quarter, right? Now, I go down there every year, and no, I do not wear a dress when I'm down there. I wear a red t-shirt in solidarity, but I don't judge the motherfuckers who do got on a dress, man, because they down there to have a good time. And they having a good time down there. Trust me, I know. Right? I have a good time when I'm down there too, which is why we continue to go every fucking year, right? So we have a good time down there, but never did I think that this dude's wearing of a dress made me less of a dude, man. Made me less of a man. That's stupid. And so to constantly hear brothers bitching about whether or not this dude wearing a dress in a role for a movie somehow emasculates the rest of us, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. Now, you're more than welcome to your opinion to it. This is what, just as well as I'm is welcome to my opinion that, yeah, the conversation around whether or not that emasculates men is stupid, right? In much the same way that when we talked about this last week, when we talked about this last week, that all of these men, do you think that every last one of these dudes that I listed, whether it be Don Cheadle, whether that be Sidney Poitier, whether that be Denzel Washington, whether that be Samuel L. Jackson or Lawrence Fishburne or Forrest Whitaker, you think all of these dudes allow somebody to like mistreat them in a way so that they can advance their careers? You think all of them are now subject to compromising themselves? At a certain point, when you start really, really thinking about the shit, it just starts sounding fucking silly, man. So, yeah, there are anecdotal bits of people who come out and say, yeah, man, I was approached with some shit. And I said no, and my career never went any further than that. That's unfortunate. I'm not even saying that never happened to them. But to say that happened to everybody was what I was pushing back on, man. I don't believe that happened to everybody. I feel like there's some people that you can try, and there's some people you can't. Right? That's just bottom line. I feel like there are some people you think that you will be able to try a certain type of way, and then there's some people that you can't, and you don't even fucking bother trying to do it. And that's what I think happens. Right? But yeah, man, I appreciate your comment, Reggie. And I do really hope to hear from you again soon, man. Real talk. We also have a comment here on Spotify, and this is from episode 31. This is also from the long game of Dumbing Down America. And James writes in to say, sadly, and the question was, are you surprised by how many people can't identify the three branches of government? And James writes in to say, sadly, no. Republicans want an uneducated America. Some red states are trying to get children to quit at the 8th grade and bring back child slave labor. And don't get started on Ashy Mang the God. Okay, don't get started on Ashy Mang the God. So yeah, he's talking about Charlemagne and his and we talked a little bit about his propensity to pretty much bring in his propensity to talk about apathy more so than anything in regards to our elective process and stuff. But yeah, man, I think that I was surprised when I saw how low that number was. But then after just kind of gauging some of the conversations that I've been having over some time, man, it was like, well, the shit kind of tracks. Right? So yeah, man, we got that going on. But that's all of our listener feedback. We got some fucking breaking news, y'all. Yeah, man, we got some breaking news out here. And Ron DeSantis has dropped out of the goddamn presidential race. Yeah, man, Ron DeSantis done got his ass on up out of the paint. Now, the interesting thing here is that not only did Ron DeSantis, drop out of the presidential race, because, of course, Ron DeSantis, finally, reality set in for this motherfucker, right? Reality set in for Ron DeSantis. He knew he didn't have a snowball's chance in hell in winning this damn presidency, and the writing was on the wall. And so he was like, all right, I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to get on up out of this race, right? But right after he gets up out of the race, okay, y'all know this motherfucker endorsed Donald Trump, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah, he went on ahead and just endorsed Donald Trump. So here's what I find interesting, right? Because it doesn't make sense for him to endorse Donald Trump, considering some of the shit that Donald Trump has said about him over the course of these last few months, right? Like when Ron DeSantis first announced that he was going to run for president, Donald Trump went out of his way to start insulting him and shit. They were talking about him like eating pudding with his fucking fingers and shit. They were talking about Donald Trump basically called this motherfucker disloyal because he credited him. Donald Trump credited himself with Ron DeSantis becoming governor of Florida. He started calling Ron DeSanctimonious and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? Coming up with a nickname for him. And what has been interesting about all of the people who are running for president right now, especially on the Republican side, for whatever reason, we know the reason. All of the people who were running for president on the Republican side thought that something would happen to Donald Trump legally. They were hoping that something happened to Donald Trump legally so that they, could kind of slide into that spot should something happen to him. But they didn't want to attack him directly because they felt if they attacked him directly, then his voters wouldn't take too kindly to that. So all of them, from Tim Scott to Ron DeSantis to Vivek Ramaswamy, the only one that wasn't really doing it was Chris Christie, but Chris Christie knew he wasn't going to fucking win. And those of us who have been paying attention knew that Chris Christie helped Donald Trump twice, right? After he stopped running in 2016, he helped Donald Trump prepare for debates going forward. In 2020, Chris Christie started helping Donald Trump prepare for debates going forward. So yeah, nobody really believed in Chris Christie like that. The Republicans didn't, and a lot of Democratic voters didn't either. Like, yeah, you doing this? It sounds good, nigga, but we don't believe you. You need more people, right? But Ron DeSantis, just like last week, this is some shit that Ron DeSantis was saying just last week. So let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on, let me share this with you guys so you guys can see. And this is Ron DeSantis and what he had to say about Donald Trump just last week.
You can be the most worthless Republican in.
Uh-oh, the shit done fucking froze. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? All right, let's do this. Let's see if this. Well, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Hey, man. Okay, let me hold on. Let me stop this here. And let's do this. I'm gonna close this out.
Most worthless Republican in America.
Okay, so for whatever reason, the shit came up when I minimized it, but I can't have this minimized on y'all. So let's try this again. Let's try this again. All right. What you talking about, Ryan?
But if you kiss the ring, he'll say you're wonderful. You can be the strongest, most dynamic, successful Republican and conservative in America, but if you don't kiss that ring, then he'll try to trash you. You know what? You deserve a nominee that's going to put you first, not himself first.
All right, so that's pretty much what Ron DeSantis was saying about Donald Trump just last week. Right? Just last week, this is what he was talking about, right? But he endorsed Donald Trump as he suspended his campaign, and I'm gonna read a little bit from here. The Washington Post. Wait. No, we're not gonna read from the Washington Post. There are videos available for this shit. So let me see if I can pull the video up for this. Hold on just a second while I do this here. Yeah, because there's video. This nigga was out here talking greasy last week, and now he talking some other shit. Ron DeSantis campaign suspension. All right. Let's see what this nigga talking about. Let me we want the short video. We don't want the long one. Okay, so this is all these. This is one thing I hate is that everybody got this commentary on top of it. So yeah, we'll pull up Fox News.
Greetings from Florida.
We'll pull up the Fox News joint. Why not? Because at least they go talk, to their people with some level of like they think they stupid. So let me pull this down, and then I'm gonna pull this other video up so you guys can watch right along with me. Let's do this here. All right. Pull that one up. Bam. We on point now. All right, let's go. Let's see what the fuck this nigga talking about. Or no. Or no. I mean, damn. Comcast, y'all really let your boy hanging
The warmth
out
of being home is a reminder why I've chosen public service. From joining the United States Navy and serving in Iraq to representing the people in the U.S. Congress and now serving as governor of Florida. And it reminds me why I decided to run for president, to fight for those who've been forgotten in this country. This is America's time for choosing. We can choose to allow a border invasion, or we can choose to stop it. We can choose reckless borrowing and spending, or we can choose to limit government and lower inflation. We can choose political indoctrination, or we can choose classical education. These choices are symptoms of the underlying struggle to ensure that constitutional government can endure and that Western civilization can survive. And we launched this campaign to bring accountability to government, regain sovereignty at our border, and restore sanity to our society. We cannot succeed as a country if we allow our nation to be invaded, our currency to be debased, our cities to crumble, and our kids to be indoctrinated. The DC elites who facilitated this mess do not care about.
And when they say indoctrinated, we know that they don't want their kids to know what the real shit that happened here in the country. They don't want them to know that.
About you, and they do not work for you. They work for themselves. They seek to accumulate power at your expense to.
Well, damn, Comcast, don't give me the speeds I'm paying for. Like, what the fuck, bro? I know what it is. Hold on a second, guys. Let me pull up some superpowers here. Hold on just a second.
Pursue an agenda that is harmful to the American people. Citizens do not serve politicians. It is the duty of politicians to serve you. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. Reversing the decline of this nation requires leadership that delivers big results for the people we are elected to serve. I have a record of leading with conviction, championing an agenda marked by bold colors, delivering on my promises, and defeating the people who are responsible for our nation's decline. That is the type of leadership we need for all of America. Now, over the past many months, Casey and I have traveled across the country to deliver a message of hope that decline is a choice and that we can, in fact, succeed.
Well, goddamn. Hold on a second. Hold on. Where is it? I don't need to find out why there's, we getting some interruptions and shit. For whatever reason, the internet is going slow. But yeah, man, Ron DeSantis has endorsed Donald Trump for president going forward. And it gets to a point where, like, as much as they talk about the Republican Party and like its members showing strength and stuff like that, every time one of these dudes gets into a battle with Donald Trump and then they find themselves acquiescing to, I'm sorry, not even so much acquiescing, but becoming obsequious to Donald Trump later on, it just shows how weak a lot of these dudes are. I mean, you think about what happened with Ted Cruz back in 2016 when he was running against Donald Trump and he was calling Donald Trump a liar. Donald Trump essentially called his wife ugly, said that his father was was part of the John F. Kennedy assassination plot, that sort of shit. And, after that, Ted Cruz not only became an endorser of Donald Trump, but tried to help facilitate January 6th by rejecting the ballots for the counting or the counting of the ballots of the Electoral College, right? So you got that going on. Again, even with Ron DeSantis, this is a dude who Donald Trump has repeatedly mocked on the campaign trail and allowed for, or at least Ron DeSantis has allowed for him to be caricatured by Donald Trump because, again, so many of them were beholden to who they thought the voters were, and they were thinking that something was going to happen to Donald Trump legally where they could just kind of scoop those voters up. So they never really competed for the nomination of the Republican Party. None of them. Not Nikki Haley, not Vivek Ramaswamy, not Ron DeSantis, not Tim Scott, or any of the other people who decided they were going to jump their asses into the ring. None of these people, none of them.
Again, as a nation, nobody.
Yeah. Shut up. But like none of these people actually fought for the nomination. And so, yeah, with him, not only just getting out of the race, but endorsing Donald Trump is like, yeah, that whatever, bro. Like, we kind of saw the writing was on the wall, right? The writing was on the wall for like people like Ron DeSantis and eventually Nikki Haley, because I believe Nikki Haley is going to, I don't think she's going to win in New Hampshire, and she'll probably drop out, and then we're going to have the longest fucking, presidential race in history between just two dudes, right? Because like for the last few presidential cycles, we're used to there being the primary and the primary playing out. Well, like shit, after New Hampshire, there's not going to be many. I mean, just about everybody on the Republican side is already out. So yeah, man, you got that going on, man. But yeah, Ron DeSantis finally got rid of that goddamn presidential campaign, and maybe unfortunately, that just means he's going to be able to focus on Florida and how to fuck it up even worse than it already was, man. By trying to take away freedoms from so many of his, constituents, as opposed to making their lives better, right? You got that going on. But our next story that we got here, man, yeah, I think we'll go with this. So last week, we had the story of the brick lady, right? Y'all remember the brick lady? The brick lady was the one who said that there was a dude who refused to take no for an answer and hit this lady in the face with a brick because she refused to give him her phone number. Yeah, and it was breaking when we got on the mic. I want to say that was Tuesday. It was breaking as soon, like that happened right before we got on the mic. But there's been some more details that have come out over that case. So we're going to pull this video up so we can watch this right along together. And let's see what they're talking about in Houston and what's going on with Brick Lady. So
the woman at the center of a viral video who claimed a man threw a brick at her head because she would not give him her phone number is now wanted by Houston police. This story got national attention after that woman live streamed.
So first of all, she said she's wanted by the police, which means it sounds like her ass is on the goddamn run.
Nigga! What she claimed was the aftermath on Instagram and started a GoFundMe. Only KPRC2's Bryce Newberry is talking with the prosecutor on this case tonight. He joins us live near the Galleria with the latest. Bryce.
Daniela, Houston police got called to this street in September, and when they arrived, the woman seen in that viral video told them that an Uber driver threw a brick at her head and then tried to kidnap her. But tonight, she has become the focus of this criminal investigation because Houston police say the surveillance footage captured by cameras on this street doesn't match her story.
Yo, this man just hit me in my face with a brick and all these black men just watched.
This video with more than 1 million likes on the Shade Room's Instagram.
Okay, so that was the other thing too, right? So we talked a little bit about this last week where, most of the things that I kind of focused on was with her, if it was true that she, pretty much made this entire thing up, she was doing a disservice to all of the women who have been legitimately victims of assault, right? A domestic dispute, right? She's doing a disservice to all of these women because it makes it harder for them to be believed when some shit really goes down. And also, considering everything that's going on in the world, people will be less likely to try to help, right? Less likely to try to help because they don't know if they're being taken advantage of. But the thing that made this like something of a gender war type of issue when this happened last year was when she got on Instagram and she talked about all of the black men standing around that did not help her, right? Now, if this is true, that she made this up, that this was a part of a hoax, then it would make sense as to why those men in the video that she recorded did not help her. Because what she presented to us on social media wasn't exactly what happened, if the allegations against her are true, right? And so there was a lot of black men who took offense to the idea that there was a woman who was being assaulted in front of them and they just allowed for the shit to happen in front of them and none of them did anything. And it became, fodder for social media, like the battle between men and women on social media. And so much of social media is geared towards not only the outrage, but the clicks and everything else, right? And you had a lot of sisters who were upset with brothers like, yo, man, for not believing her. And then you had a lot of brothers who took offense to the sisters who were like, yo, man, we don't know what the fuck really happened. And she's saying these dudes didn't help her, but we don't know what happened, yada, yada, yada. Unfortunately, social media just kind of drove a wedge between two groups of folks who need each other, And so, the fact that now this woman is on the run and, Houston police is actively looking for her and they're saying that this entire shit was a hoax. Man, it just exacerbates all of the cynicism that people have about trying to help those who would be in need, right? There may come a situation because of this. There may come a situation where there are going to be some people, if there's some real shit going on, who will be reluctant to help because they don't know if they're being included in a fucking social media skit, right? Which is sad, but that's what we've come to. Let me let this video play a little bit more.
Instagram page captured the moments after what appeared to be a brutal attack in West Houston.
Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face?
The woman is 33-year-old Rhoda Osman.
What have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this?
Seen here in tears in a hospital gown.
She told the detective that responded that she was hit in the head with a brick after she refused to give her phone number to a guy on the street.
And was that verified by any of the evidence that detectives looked at?
No, that was not verified.
Harris County prosecutor Keith Houston says surveillance videos from that early September morning show Osman hitting a man first.
So she's the one she was the aggressor.
She was the aggressor, yes.
And it was a water bottle that hit her, not a brick?
He did have a water bottle in his hand, and we think that's what left the mark.
According to court documents, she asked someone else to launch this GoFundMe for her recovery, raising more than $42,000. But as the story went viral, a blogger on TikTok called police, alerting them to this 2020 GoFundMe, which claimed a vicious assault by a security guard in Minneapolis.
Detective Thornton verified with Minneapolis police that there was no assault done at that time. It was completely fictional.
Prosecutors allege theft by deception and believe she would have received all that money had the campaign not been shut down.
The violence that I have suffered since September 3rd is just unbelievable. I can't even believe I'm here. They try to leave me for dead.
In an Instagram story posted Wednesday, Osman addressed those who have doubted her.
I actually have things going on in my life. I actually have real ways to make money. I don't have to get a GoFundMe for money. I actually can earn income because I'm actually educated and I actually am talented.
And tonight, a spokesperson for GoFundMe telling KPRC2 GoFundMe has zero tolerance for the misuse of our platform. The fundraiser has been removed from the platform. All donors have been refunded, and Rhoda Osman has been banned from using the platform for any future fundraisers.
Well, yeah. Interestingly enough, when she says I'm talented and I have ways to make money, I don't need anybody to do a GoFundMe and all these other things. Anytime, like, just me personally, that all may be true. But if what you are saying is true, would you have rejected any of the funds raised on your behalf for your recovery? Right? Let's just say everything that you say is true, that you have ways to make money, that you're talented, now all these other things. Let's grant that. Would you have said no to the $42,000 that had been raised on your behalf for what happened to you? Or would you have, accepted that money? Right? Now, GoFundMe is like basically banned this woman from the platform. I don't know, like Indiegogo may, if Indiegogo or any of the other crowdfunding sorts of websites would allow for her to raise money for medical bills or what have you. But again, I remember when like there were folks who like were skeptical at first, just like there were folks who were skeptical at first about Jussie Smollett, just as there were folks who were skeptical. I'm drawing a blank on what the young lady's name was with the baby that she supposedly saw on the side of the road, and it became that was a hoax in and of itself too. Like people finding themselves being met with a bit of scorn because of their skepticism, right? And like I said, I'm one of those folks who really did believe Jussie Smollett in the beginning. Like, I didn't understand why anybody would lie about something like that. I really didn't get it, especially considering his position, considering his it wasn't like he needed the money. It wasn't like he needed the attention. He was on one of the hottest television shows in the country at the time. It didn't make sense for why he did what he did. For someone like the young lady with the kid that she supposedly saw on the side of the road, which we know was a hoax. And for this young lady, what's, outside of the monetary gain, what was the purpose of it? You know, that's the thing that I really want to know. Like, what was the purpose of it? And so, yeah, man, like, you know, I wanted to like kind of play like some follow up because again, like I said, when we talked about this Tuesday, this was a breaking news story when it happened, but you know, it's unfortunate that like, yo, people are really using victimhood in this way and making it harder for anybody who's actually going through some shit. They're making it harder for anybody who's actually going through some shit to actually receive any sort of help because people are going to be a little bit skeptical, a little bit hesitant to help anybody because they're like, yo, man, I don't know, man. The last time I seen some other shit about this, and it was like niggas were just trying to get over, bruh. And that's the thing, man. And that's the thing that I think is unfortunate. So yeah, man, Brick Lady is apparently on the run because they don't even have her in custody, but she's, well, I don't even know if you would call it on the run, but because she's on social media, still responding to people on social media and everything else. I don't know how on the run she could be if that's what's happening, but yeah, man, you got that going on. We're all going crazy outside of these football games, man. God bless football, right? But we got that going on. Now, another story that we got going on, I think I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with this one here. So, in Baltimore, man, Baltimore got some shit going on, man, where they got this racist ass principal talking greasy as fuck behind closed doors, man. Yeah, man, Baltimore schools got a racist ass principal, man. And he talking crazy about the black kids. He talking crazy about the teachers, man. Like, old boy was like going in on their asses, right? So, of course, y'all know how we do here at the Spann Report Podcast Network and the Miss Spann Official Podcast specifically. We gonna put up the video so we can watch this shit as a family, right? So let me pull this up so y'all can see what the fuck I had saw earlier, because this is like, nigga, for real? This is what we doing? So, yeah, let's see what they talk about in Baltimore.
Baltimore County Schools has launched an investigation after the principal of Pikesville High School was allegedly recorded making racially charged comments.
That recording is circulating online and includes derogatory remarks about student staff. We want to warn you about that. But a state senator says it's his understanding that the principal's union claims that recording was generated using artificial intelligence. Project Baltimore's Chris.
Hold up, man. Hold up. Do you mean to tell me that these niggas are using the Dave Chappelle R. Kelly skit, that piss was digital excuse for why this principal got caught up on the shit that he got caught up on? Nigga! That piss was digital, baby. We on, special effects got them doing all kinds of shit out here, nigga. We don't know if that shit was real or not. That piss was digital. That's his excuse. It was AI, nigga. Oh man, we are in a whole new world right now. And we can continue to play this video though.
Paps has the latest on the investigation.
In an email to parents Wednesday afternoon, Baltimore County Schools Superintendent Dr. Miriam Rogers called the statements in the recording deeply disturbing, but said they cannot confirm the veracity of the recording at this time.
I seriously don't understand why I have to constantly put up with these dumb here every day. Between these ungrateful black kids who can't test their way out of a paper bag.
That voice allegedly belongs to Pikesville principal Eric Eiswert, seen here on the school's website. The clip is 41.
Let's make sure we get a real good look at this motherfucker right here. A real good look at this son bitch right here. Let's make sure we see this bitch in 4K, right? See his ass in 4K, because this nigga had the audacity to say that they caught him. It was, hey, they got an AI model of him cussing out black kids and talking shit about the teachers that teach in his school. Man, get the fuck out of here. Like, think about this for a second, right? Think about this for a second. Who are you? Who are you at this moment in time where you are so important that somebody came up with an AI model of your voice and created an audio recording of you, or allegedly you, talking crazy about not only your students, but the teachers who work for you too. Who are you for that to be the thing that happened? And it not be, nah, you was really out here talking greasy when you thought you was among people who thought it was cool for you to talk greasy like that too. Come on, man. Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Fuck out of here with that bullshit, man. Come on, Comcast, with that bullshit, man. Let's play the video. It's not like the shit ain't loaded up. This is embarrassing, man. I'm sorry, y'all. My internet is out here interneting not that well. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's like because the Lions done won and shit, and everybody on the internet right now looking at replays of the game or what. But what the fuck, bro? Like, let's see. How about I do this? Because this seemed to work sometime. Let me do this here. This seemed to work every now and again. Let's play that. And no, it's doing some other shit. Let's refresh the shit or something. Okay. So let's do this here. What the? Yeah. What the hell? All right, let me pull this back up so you guys can watch right along with me. I don't know what the hell's going on with our internet tonight, but this shit is crazy. All right. Here we go again. Let's see if it's going to play like it got some sense.
Their way out of a paper bag.
That voice allegedly belongs
What the fuck, bro?
to Pikesville principal Eric Eiswert, seen here.
No, what's irritating the fuck out of me is that this shit is already loaded to some degree, and it's just not fucking playing.
Right. The clip is 41 seconds long.
I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. All right.
Beginning with racially charged language about black students.
All right, yeah. So here's what happened. Here's what the fuck happened. He was talking greasy about black students. He was talking greasy about his teachers. He was talking greasy about quite a bit of people, right? And so his defense is that, like, y'all, I didn't really say that shit. These people, like, they trying to get me up out of the paint, and that was some AI. That was AI that they came up with that got me, like, they got a voice to sound like me, and, like, that wasn't really me, but it just sounded like me because, you know, AI, you know, this AI is crazy, man. AI is everywhere, you know what I'm saying, man? You know, they got the deep fakes going on, you know what I'm saying? And, like, nah, nigga, that was you. That was you. That was you. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, whatever's going on in Baltimore right now, like, real talk, I like, yo, these are the type of people who find themselves in situations where they are educating, or quote unquote educating, our kids. Right? Now, I get to some degree why some people would opt out of the public school system to educate their kids on their own, whether that be you don't believe that the public school system is giving your kids enough education on the things they need to know, or whether or not you feel like the public education system is being discriminatory against your kids and not teaching them the things they need to know. And this adds fuel to that fire. However, the sheer idea that this motherfucker is talking about, yo, man, that was that he gave this piss was digital defense. The fact that he gave this piss was digital defense is absolutely fucking insane right now, man. It's absolutely insane. Let's see if this plays anymore. If it doesn't, then we're just going to say fuck it and we're going to move on.
Academic performance. A few seconds later,
Yeah, we're just going to fucking move on because this shit is loaded up and it's just not fucking playing. I don't know what the hell's going on with my internet right now. I really don't. Like, shit's plugged up directly and everything, and it's just doing whatever the fuck it wants to do. So we got that going on. But we got some comments here in the chat. And so Horatio chimes in. He says, everybody in the Detroit area is on the internet tonight. You absolutely motherfucking right, man. Everybody on the internet. And they probably talking cash shit. I mean, I know it. I know we all out here talking cash shit. Because y'all know how people talk about Detroit, man. Y'all know how people talk about Detroit. In Detroit, these are some prideful motherfuckers. And so, yeah, everybody in Detroit right now talking cash shit about our Lions going to the NFC Championship game, man. Real talk. Horatio also writes in to say that also, dude been waiting to use that AI. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Everybody like, hey, man, that piss was digital. You know what I'm saying? You know, special effects doing all kind of crazy shit now and then. What was that? Dave Chappelle, I believe. We was talking about R. Kelly, man. That's what that shit came. That came from the Chappelle show. That piss was digital. And those cusses was digital. They doing all kind of crazy shit with AI nowadays. So yeah, man, we got that going on, man. But yo, I think it's Pikesville. I'm sure we might do a follow-up on this. They probably fired his ass by the time we get back on the mic. But, yo, man, we got that going on, man. We got that going on. Now, another story. It's kind of crazy that we got going on. And I kind of want to talk about this in a way where, you know, it lends to the idea that this shit really ain't our business. But they be going out of their fucking way to make it our business. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes every now and again, like celebrities be out here and they be talking shit. And it ain't our business, but they be trying to make a way to make it our business. And it's like, why the fuck we gotta know that, right? But Larsa Pippen is out here talking about her love affair with the son of Michael Jordan, Marcus Jordan, whom some of us have watched grow up. Ironically, I think like low key Larsa Pippen kind of watched this nigga grow up too. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, Larsa Pippen is out here, you know, dropping the jewels as to how often they get down in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Now, what was interesting was like Larsa Pippen was on like one of them housewife shows at one point, right? She was on one of them housewife shows at one point, and she was talking about how often she had to have sex with Scottie Pippen. And she was like, yo, man, when I was with Scottie, you know, we would have sex at least 4 times a day, you know, and I never got a break, you know. And she talked about it as though it was a chore. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, she really might not have enjoyed the sex that she had to have with Scottie Pippen 4 times a day. Well, apparently, she's having sex with Marcus Jordan 5 times a day. And I guess maybe she enjoying this shit, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, truthfully speaking, though, you know what I'm saying? I kind of feel like it's capped, though. I kind of feel
this nigga was clearly lying.
Yeah, man, I kind of feel like it was capped. I feel like she's saying this shit just to kind of keep shit in the news, you know, on the blogs or whatever the fuck. So let's see, where we going? We're going to pull this up. This shit comes out of people.com, People Magazine. And she said, let's see, Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan say they have sex five times a night, way more than she did with ex Scottie Pippen. Like, low key, when you say shit like this and it gets to the blogs, like, I'm wondering, like, that must have been a really fucked up relationship, or you're trying to get back at somebody for this to be in the public sphere, for you to be like, yo, man, I'm having way more sex with this young motherfucker than I had with your old ass. And like, it screams, I'm trying to get back at you, right? To me, like, because honestly, this ain't none of our fucking business, but they put it out there, right? So I'm going to read from this article. It says, Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan certainly aren't shy about their bedroom behavior. During an appearance on Wednesday's Watch What Happens Live, and this story comes from December. Okay, so this is actually a pretty old story, but we're going to read from it. During an appearance on Wednesday's Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, the Real Housewives of Miami star, 49, and her beau, 33, open up about their sex lives, revealing everything from their favorite position to the number of times they make love at night. The topic first came up when host Andy Cohen asked Larsa to defend the headline-making comment she made at last year's Real Housewives of Miami reunion, where she famously boasted that she's always had sex like 4 times a night while she was married to her ex, Scottie Pippen, the former NBA teammate of Marcus's dad, Michael Jordan. That's facts, Larsa told Cohen, before noting that the number has increased with Marcus. I also have sex probably 5 times a night with the love of my life, she said, gesturing to her boyfriend. I'm very competitive, so I like to stay ready, Marcus said, saying it's way more than 3 times. Asked by Cohen if that was to completion and if Marcus was able to complete yourself and then keep going, he insisted, especially with Larsa as my partner, absolutely. Later in the episode, the two discussed their go-to sexual position, both agreeing it was doggy style. They also agreed that Larsa's behind was Marcus's favorite part of her body. Asked what was happening with Larsa's OnlyFans page now that she's with Marcus, she admitted it's kind of slowed down. Thought Marcus insisted it's still popping. The couple's revelations about their relationship comes weeks after Marcus told people that an engagement is in the works. In the interview, Larsa said that the pair had been looking at rings, but she trusts her beau to make the right choice. I feel like Marcus has got great taste, and I feel like I know that he's not going to disappoint us of the impending engagement. She added, I'm excited. Yeah. Excited for us to know a bunch of shit that ain't none of our motherfucking business, man. But also, I'm just saying.
This nigga was clearly lying.
Hey, this is like the Cat Williams of like, yo, we be fucking all the time, right? This is the Cat Williams of we be fucking all the time, man. Like, yo, where the fuck do you find the time? Where the fuck do you find the time? I mean, I'm sure like, yo, a night, nigga? Not just like during the day. These niggas said for the night. The night, nigga? You don't get no sleep? You know what I'm saying? There's only so much hours in the night in the evening time. So like maybe once as soon as you get home and then you gotta wash your ass, right? So then like after you wash your ass, then you do it again in the shower or something like that. And then like maybe like right after dinner. So that's 3 times. You know, that's 3 times. And then like maybe you gotta watch, you do some work or something, like some business or whatever. And then like you do it right then. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's 4. You know, like it's maybe. If they on the Cat Williams plan, they could probably do it. If they on the Cat Williams plan, Cat Williams was reading 8 books a day. Y'all didn't know that. Cat Williams was out here reading 8 books a day as an 8-year-old, nonfiction books, every day for 4 years. It's 3,000 books. They out here having sex 3,000 times. So shout out to like Marcus and Larsa. They're out here breaking records. Good luck to them in a impending union. But that's something that was in the news and shit. Yeah. None of our fucking business. But like I said, they made it so. They have made it fucking so. And none of us are grateful for it, but we all know now, right? Let's see. What else we got here? Oh shit. We got some Detroit news that doesn't include the Lions, man. We got some more Detroit news. So, some of you may be familiar with the former mayor of the city of Detroit, fellow that goes by the name of one Kwame Kilpatrick. And so Kwame is in the news here, not necessarily in the news. He's in the Metro Times. So like the Metro Times is like one of those local papers where like they not like, nationally recognized, but like the locals know who the fuck the Metro Times is. And the Metro Times had a story where they were talking about Kwame Kilpatrick, or the wife of Kwame Kilpatrick, buying a house in the city of Novi, Michigan, to the tune of $807,000. Let me see if I can pull this story up. I believe I have it in my pocket here. And yeah, there we go. MetroTimes.com. There we go. And we're going to read this from this story. It says, former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick's wife bought an $807,000 house in an upscale residential enclave in Novi last month even as her convicted felon husband still owes a hefty amount of money in back taxes and restitution stemming from his corruption conviction in 2013. Letitia Kilpatrick, who married the disgraced former mayor in July 2021 at Detroit's historic Little Rock Baptist Church, purchased the home through the Pathfinder consulting firm, a Warren-based company that she owns. She took out a $645,000 mortgage, according to the property records obtained by the Metro Times. As of November, Kilpatrick, who was released from prison and is now a pastor, hold up. Kwame Kilpatrick went from the politics to the pulpit.
Oh, yeah. What happened to your sheriff? There is powerful niggardry at work here.
Yeah. It says, as of November, Kilpatrick, who was released from prison and is now a pastor, still owed more than $1 million restitution and unpaid taxes, the Detroit Free Press reported. In the summer of 2022, federal prosecutors launched an investigation in an effort to recover the unpaid restitution after Kilpatrick and his wife created a crowdfunding campaign to raise $800,000 for a new home in Orlando, Florida. Former Assistant U.S. Attorney Anjali Prasad tells Metro Times that the Kilpatricks may believe that they're being clever by purchasing the home through Letitia Kilpatrick, but that won't stop federal prosecutors from seeking a lien on the home. They were very, very good at what they do, said Prasad, who owns the criminal defense firm Prasad Legal. They are good at what they do. This idea that he can be lawfully married and somehow channel money through his wife to purchase a home, which under the law would be a marital asset, is wishful thinking. It matters not whose name is on the title or mortgage. This is a joint marital asset. Prasad points out that the Justice Department's Financial Litigation Unit is effective at recovering restitution after a conviction. I'm 110% sure that the feds can and will put a lien on that home. It wasn't immediately clear if the Kilpatricks are living in the home yet. When a Metro Times reporter knocked on the door on Friday, a black woman answered and claimed that the Kilpatricks do not live there. She declined to answer any further questions. A Bible study video posted by Kwame Kilpatrick, on the other hand, on Facebook on Friday, showed cabinets in the background that looked identical to the ones shown in the photos of the home's real estate listing.
Oh, that was different.
So clearly this nigga's in the house, man. Yo, man, real talk. Like I said, I remember when Kwame Kilpatrick was the mayor of the city of Detroit. I thought that at first, I felt like, the media, I must just be honest with myself and for you guys. I felt like at first that the media was like out to get this dude. But the more and more I read and I like listen to stories about what happened with Kwame Kilpatrick as mayor of the city of Detroit, I don't believe that what's the party where they say like the stripper got murdered, Strawberry, she got murdered as a result of her dancing at that party. I don't believe that to be true, but there's way too much shit going on with this dude where it'd be like, all right, bro, like at a certain point, man, like everybody ain't lying on you. And man, like the fact that this motherfucker thought he was gonna be able to buy an $800,000 house and nothing was gonna happen and nobody was gonna ask no questions and nobody was like, come on, bro, what are you thinking? What are you doing, man? And it's also an indictment on the church in the sense that like, man, like these dudes feel like, man, I can go to the church and the church will allow me to redeem myself, but not only redeem myself, but like allow me to continue to grift on people who believe. Right? I mean, as much as the church folks talk about discernment, they ain't discerning all that well when it comes to like certain motherfuckers. Right? So we got that going on. But yeah, man, Kwame Kilpatrick out here buying houses and shit, and they pay back the restitution that he owed. That's kind of fucked up. But we got that going on. Now, another story that we got going on, man, and this has to do with one Joe Biden. Joe Biden is out here like, working for the people and shit, at least, he's doing something that like a lot of folks wouldn't necessarily give him credit for. But we get this story here. Let me pull this story up. Where's my... Here we go. All right. So there are those of us... Wait, is there a video attached to this? There absolutely is a video attached to this. Okay. I shouldn't be that excited. But let me see if I can pull this video up so we can watch this as a family, because y'all know I like to do this as opposed to be reading these articles to y'all. So let me pull this video up so you guys can watch. We get this story from I'm sorry, not CNBC, but CBS. And okay, so there's a commercial playing right now, which sucks, but it's playing right now. So as soon as this comes down, I will pull the video up so you guys can watch right along with me. Okay, let's do this. And let's do... Let me add this scene. And boom. All right. Because the commercial about damn near over.
Taking action on hidden fees through a new rule. The goal is to end excessive overdraft fees. Today's proposal was supposed to cut average overdraft fees by more than half. The release did not include details on what the proposal entails. In a statement released this morning, Biden says Republicans are defending the fees. He adds overdraft fees are, quote, about the companies that rip off hard-working Americans simply because they can.
Out-of-warranty cars need the CarCheck's guarantee.
No, we don't. Shut the fuck up. I don't want y'all talking about this. All right. So, yeah. So the Biden administration is essentially trying to, if not get rid of the overdraft fees, but also to kind of lessen what the overdraft fees are. Now, yeah, man, for those of y'all, I mean, come on, let's be real, right? Overdraft fees suck, right? Because you're essentially being charged for monies that you do not have. You're being charged for monies that you do not have. And, you know, imagine you go into the motherfucking Burger King and you buy like a Whopper combo, large or whatever, and it's like, I don't know, $20. You know what I'm saying? By the time you get finished, because that's what food costs have gone up quite a bit, right? So it's about $20 when you get finished buying that Whopper combo. But then after you get the overdraft charge, because you didn't have the monies in there really to like really get that Whopper combo that large and all that other shit, you probably could have left the cheese alone too. But you like the cheese, so you get the cheese. And then the bank was like, shit, fucked up for you. Not only are you gonna pay that $20, but also we're gonna tack on another $32. We're gonna tack on another $32 for you. So now you owe $52 on this damn hamburger, fries, and drink because you ain't have it when we decided to go ahead and let that transaction go through, right? I mean, think about this for a second. The banks are being paid for giving you money as opposed to, you know, that's the other thing too. Like, there's a balance there. Like, some people are like, all right, I'll deal with this on the other end, man. You know, I ain't got it right now, but let the bank go ahead and put that money through there. You know, if the bank go ahead and let that transaction go through, then I can go ahead, I can eat right now. But then you get charged another $30 for that cheeseburger and that pop and that fry. And there's no fucking way in hell that a cheeseburger, a pop, and a fry should ever cost you $55 fucking dollars. Right? But that's essentially what the banks have been able to do. And oftentimes, because of some of the regulations that the Trump administration have allowed for to be rolled back, a lot of these banks start repositioning when certain transactions on your account get processed to maximize how often they can receive these overdraft fees on your checking account. So the next time you get paid, you thinking your check is probably $1,500, but you got $300 in overdraft charges that you got to account for first. So instead of your check being $1,500, by the time you get paid, if you got a direct deposit, your check is like $1,200. There's a whole lot of other shit you could have did with that $300. If the bank had processed your shit correctly and on time. Here's the other part that I always thought was like kind of sketchy about what happens with the banks. Like when you spending money and you going into the bank, oftentimes like if you are you're keeping track of your transactions through your bank account, and you're like, yo, man, so I spent this money, and you're waiting for the bank to take that money out. Now, the bank will say, like, yo, you have this much money available, but then you have these transactions pending. But this is the money you have available. And he'd be like, all right, cool. Why? Like, y'all take it out, though, when I can't spend it. Like, this is what I got. Y'all took that shit out. But when it comes time to putting money back in your checking account, the bank's like, shit, yeah, so about putting the money back in your account. You know, we got some other things that's kind of like moving and shaking on the background, but like once we get everything straightened out on the back end, then we can maybe put that back, but like, yeah, man, you've been running it up though. You know what I'm saying? You've been running it up. Nah, man, it should never be a thing where it takes them a week to process any sort of motherfucking transaction. Right? Whether that be the store who holds on, like there should be some sort of, that's the thing that we really should be pushing a lot of these financial institutions on. Hey, don't pull up all of your goddamn transactions of the week and then push them up on one day throughout the week. Nah, the moment that you spend that money with that company is the moment that payment should be processed at your bank. You shouldn't have any surprises with the amount of money, especially if you get, with so many people opting to use debit cards the way that they do, especially with the way in which people are opting to pay for shit with their phones now, because we have tap to pay on so many different levels, on so many different, whether it be Apple Pay or whether it be Google Pay, whether it be Samsung Pay, however you pay. But when you swipe that card or you tap that card or you tap your phone, that money should be recorded automatically as no longer in your account, so that they can't say, well, the merchant processed these payments a week later. And now you're looking at your shit like, wait, like now there's so many people now, because they swipe so much, they're not necessarily balancing a checkbook. I mean, everybody should. A lot of folks just aren't doing it anymore. Hey, man, not only are you holding up my money, but when it comes time to giving me back what I'm supposed to get back, it takes you forever to give me what I'm supposed to get back. Fuck that. Because when I spend this money, it's gone immediately. You're telling me what my available balances is, and it's gone immediately. I'm not trying to hear, hey, yeah, it's going to be like 5 to 10 business days before you get that money back. Because it didn't take y'all 5 to 10 business days to process whether or not I was in the store spending money. It doesn't make sense. So the fact that Joe Biden is coming after the banks about the overdraft charges, because again, the overdraft charges are like the banks are making money off of the people who have no money to spend anyway. It's expensive to be poor. It's expensive to be poor. There's a lot of people who can't afford to buy these things in the moment, but they're like, yo, man, I gotta let this shit float so that I can get these things immediately. And yeah, I'll pay for it on the back end. But unfortunately, when I pay for it on the back end, it's throwing me further and further behind. So yeah, man, I appreciate the Biden administration for, kind of like trying to do something about fees like this. And not only just fees like this, but like junk fees, like the fees that resorts put on you, or not even so much resorts. Like you go to a hotel and the hotel gives you a resort fee, and he's like, nigga, I'm at the airport, bro. This ain't no motherfucking resort. Right? So I appreciate the Biden administration for doing a thing when it comes to that, right? But Let's see what else we got here. What else we got? Okay, so yeah, we got one last story here. And this is actually like kind of a holdover from last week. But we're gonna talk about a little bit about this tonight. So Charlie Kirk is the founder, I guess, the founder and leader of the Young Republicans Club known as Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA was one of those folks, the people who kind of popularized the person that we know to be Candace Owens, right? And Charlie Kirk decided that he wanted to, for whatever the fuck reason last week, he decided that he wanted to attack the memory and the legacy of one Martin Luther King Jr., man. All right, so we get this story here. This comes out of yahoonews.com and says that Charlie Kirk, founder and executive director of Turning Point USA, speaks at the Turning Point Action Conference in West Palm Beach, Florida on Saturday. But this is old. Well, I'm going to continue to read it because that sounds like this is old. Let me, on Saturday, July 15, 2023, the Federal Election Committee. Oh, so that's, okay. My bad. So I'll be saving a lot of these stories to pocket, and oftentimes what they do is they're giving me the description of a picture. So this picture, what they were doing is it was like a picture that was taken in 2023. Okay. So it says typically conservatives try to at least pretend that they respect Dr. King, especially on Martin Luther King Day, but Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk decided to go in the opposite direction, vowing to share the truth about the famous civil rights icon on Monday. Who was MLK? Wrote Kirk on Twitter. A myth has been created and it has grown totally out of control. While he was alive, most people disliked him. That part is true. Yet today, he is the most honored, worshipped, and even deified person of the 20th century. Today, we're going to tell the truth and explain how this myth was born. Happy Monday. So Ellison and Kirk argued that Black Americans are worse off as a result of Dr. King's fight for civil rights. Before launching into a more personal line of attack on King, they evoked a piece of old propaganda alleging that King witnessed and encouraged a rape. To be clear, there's no real evidence of this. Their allegations are not new by any stretch of the imagination. They all echo, if not directly repeat, attacks made against King during his lifetime by opponents, including the FBI. But the modern Republican Party has for years at least pretended to agree that segregation was bad and that King was a hero. One could argue that it's less insulting to have someone like Kirk, who loves Donald Trump and thinks racism is fake, just come out and say that they hate MLK rather than try to pretend that he was an anti-DIA, anti-woke crusader. But it's not exactly a good sign regarding the direction of the Republican Party. The people that Kirk don't even feel they have to pretend to care about civil rights. Now, interestingly enough, there are Republicans who go out of their way, especially around the time of King's holiday, to talk about the content of our skin. And I think, I'm sorry, the color. We're looking forward to the day where our kids are judged by the content of the character, not the color of their skin. And that's the only part of the "I Have a Dream" speech that they always reference. But the one thing that I think to take solace out of this, excuse me. But the one thing I can appreciate about this is that I can appreciate that they're not being fake about it. They don't believe in the dream of Martin Luther King Jr. We know that despite how peaceful Dr. King was, they still shot and killed that man in the fucking face with a rifle. We know that all of the things that Dr. King fought for, the current Republican Party is fighting against. And so I actually appreciate when one of these simple Simon motherfuckers stops pretending that they actually care about any of that shit. And so, yeah, Charlie Kirk coming out and saying that, like, yo, he's going to attack the Dr. King holiday and, you know, do whatever the fuck. Like, this is the thing that we wish y'all would really, like, be honest about. He's being honest about it. That doesn't mean that I'm going to, like, listen to anything he has to say with any, like, sort of seriousness outside of, like, yo, I pay attention to what the fuck the opposition says. But, yeah, man, for those of you who have been pretending that these people are a viable alternative to what we have right now, like a Kanye West, like a Brandon Tatum, like a one of the like Silk and Polyester or whatever the fuck their name is, like the Hodge twins. These people are letting it be known that they have no allegiance to you, none, and everything that was done on behalf of you to make you a full-fledged citizen or closer to a full-fledged citizen. They despise and they resent every last bit of it. So yeah, man, I'm glad that Charlie Kirk is out here speaking his truth, because I mean, we've already known it, but to some degree, some other folks could stand and learn that lesson also. But yo, man, it's time for me to get on up out of here. It's 11:30. I got to get myself together and go to work tomorrow. But yeah, man, I was gonna get on this mic tonight. There was no way in hell I was not gonna get on this mic tonight. But of course, before we get on up out of here, I gotta remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mrs. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Those voicemail messages, those messages will get played here and responded to here live on the show. You can also hit us up on, hit me up on Threads and Instagram and on my Facebook fan page, man. Hit me up. My name on all three of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead and follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Music and Spotify. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mrs. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. You can also hit us up with your comments on YouTube, because again, we broadcast the show here live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So for those of you who are watching the show live, man, leave those comments, especially on YouTube. Leave those comments and let us know what you're thinking about what we're talking about here on the show. We read those comments here on the show as part of our listener feedback portion, and we really appreciate everybody who does that as well. Also, hit us up on our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can donate to the show whenever you like, as often as you like, and of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Mrs. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. And also, the polls that we do on Spotify, you can go ahead and vote in those polls, and you can comment to the episodes as well while we're doing the show on Spotify, man. Real talk. But yeah, man, we got another comment here. So Horatio is in here. He said, "Glad to see you back on the mic with the good info." Absolutely, brother. And yo, man, shout out to you as well, man, because yo, I appreciate you being here tonight. But yo, and also Rick James is up here talking about congratulations on the Lions win. Thank you. We will take it, and hopefully we can go into San Francisco and take that win as well, and go to our first Super Bowl ever, because we ain't never been to the goddamn Super Bowl. But yo, man, I really appreciate you guys here in the chat, and I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.